Ho, 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 and hello to, and welcome to Sonic Talk, episode 477. This is the final show of the year. This is our Christmas edition, which hence I'm wearing my Christmas hat. I'm also dressed up smart, but that's just a byproduct of something else I had to do today. But I thought I'd keep it on because I kind of thought, hey, I actually look a bit Reservoir Dogs, but I'm not going to start cutting anybody's ears off or anything, so don't worry. Although my own are probably quite large and could do with a trim. Anyway, let's say hello and welcome. This is the podcast that generally, maybe not this week, talks about music technology and all things to do with music production, software, synthesizers, drum machines, all that kind of good stuff. And this is our Christmas edition. If you're interested in getting more involved and you've never seen us before, we stream every Wednesday at 4 p.m. UK time at sonicstate.com/live. We're also on YouTube, Sonicstate channel, and we often stream to Facebook Live as well. I want to say hello, welcome to our, that's our chat room over at sonicstate.com/live. I told you it would be slightly wonky today, and that's because you might be able to tell. I haven't been partying. I've got a really heavy head cold, so that's why I sound like maybe my voice has dropped an octave. Anyway, welcome everybody. Let's see who we've got in the Christmas stocking of delights this week. Mr. Richard Hilton over there in sunny Connecticut, Hiltonius.com, about to hit the road for one last show before Christmas, right, Rich? Muted. Somebody take a drink.
Sorry about that.
That'll be me.
Strike one. Yes, we will be playing in London on Friday night.
Wow. And then straight back for Christmas. And you're cooking Christmas lunch, right? Wow, what a trooper.
Yeah, it's all good.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Is it a private party or a public-facing event you're doing on the 23rd?
It's a public charity event for a bunch called Autism Rocks, and I suppose it's a charity related to autistic causes. And we're playing at the Odeon, Apollo. What was once the Hammersmith Apollo, which is now, I think, Eventim Apollo. I think it is now.
It's just by the flyover. I've seen Frank Zappa there. I've seen The Cure there. I saw James Brown there. In fact,
really,
there you go. Yeah,
I think I may have played there. I'm not sure.
Okay,
but I'll know when I get there. But I may have played there.
It's a big venue, or it used to be the big venue before it got all stadium-y, but it was back in the day. It was one of the biggest live venues that was available in the UK, anyway, I think, apart from Wembley in London. Anyway, well, Rich, pleasure to have you aboard. Nice to see you there. Right, I'm going to have to do the final reveal, so we're going to go to Mr. Charles Chicky Reeves, sublime.co-uk.com, producer, part-time elf. Your beard and your hat and your background are all kind of matching. You've got it's like a Christmas grotto. Have you...
I'm colour coordinated.
You're colour coordinated. Charles, of course, out on the road a lot with Howard Jones, doing front of house sound, but also has a very nicely featured studio there where I'm guessing, have you got to cram 5 days work into the remaining 3 days of the week, Charles?
Yes, that's exactly right. You got a remix to do, a couple of mixes I got to knock out. And I'd say, it's actually probably about 7 days worth of work that has to be done within 3 days, and really 2.5 days because I have to make a Costco run at some point. So
but I mean, if you leave it too long, there won't be time for any modifications or approvals. If you deliver it at kind of like 7 p.m. Christmas Eve, then
well, that's the nice thing. It doesn't give them a chance to really get back to me, but they'll get back to me, I'm sure, like after Boxing Day, which for Americans is the day after Christmas.
Yeah, well, traditionally, is it true that Brits tend to have a longer Christmas break just because of the way that the employment things work, and you generally get less holiday, as part of your package deal. So usually there's not like you get Boxing Day and that's kind of it, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I remember when I was in the States, I would usually get Christmas Eve off, Christmas Day off. Then you're usually, if you're working, especially like retail or something, you're back at work
Boxing
the
day
after Christmas, and then you're off for New Year's Day, and then you're back the day after that. Yeah. Whereas here it's like you're off from about the 20th of December until the 9th of January, which is great. I love
That's not true. I'm off from probably Friday until 2nd of January, I think. But yeah. Anyway, let's join our little elf there. Wow, Mr. Ty Unwin, who's not in his usual abode. That must mean, Ty, that you are perhaps on a break.
No, I actually have my I have my laptop system in the other room, but I'm not in the studio. I'm not at home. Yay!
Wow, that's a great hat.
So,
that is a fantastic. But as I said, it's cool. It looks like part of your head's missing, which is a bit disconcerting. But you are fully Christmased up. Look at the jumper.
I like to make an effort. I should just draw attention, as I just did earlier, to this amazing jumper, which is fantastic. But so there's Rudolph's eyes, and watch his eyes. Look at his eyes go.
Oh,
and
nice.
Exactly as you said, Nick. Whoa, LCD in your jumper. No, hole in jumper. iPhone in hole in jumper.
Ah, okay.
Jumper, as if add LCD in. But I don't feel ripped off.
That's good. I tell you what, you want to be very careful with that when you're leaning over to stir the sprouts if you're involved in the cooking, because I could just see a nasty incident, perhaps plunging into a pot of boiling water inadvertently.
I love the fact that you actually think that I'd have anything to do with Christmas dinner. You obviously have never experienced my cooking.
Well, I did it. I might have. I did it a couple of years ago, actually, and for the first time, and it was a full-on, big turkey and everything for like 12 people. And I thought, yeah, I'll do it, and I did it, and it went really well. I was like maybe 5 minutes later than my original kind of. We're going to eat at 2:00. I think we ate at like 10 past, and I thought, yeah, great. So the following year, I did it again, and I completely blew it, and the turkey wasn't cooked at all. And the trick is, now this is really nothing to do with music technology, but for those of you who are perhaps involved in music technology and production, you perhaps don't have much of this kind of knowledge to your disposal. So I'm think of this as a sort of extracurricular bit of education for when you do finally rejoin the living, the society when you've out of the studio. Take the turkey out the night before and leave it at room temperature. Then it will cook on time. If you take it out of the fridge in the morning beforehand and it's a big bird, it will not cook on time because it's freezing cold in the middle. Just saying, right? I mean, you don't have to take it out and leave it, by the fire, but, maybe leave it in a cool room, not a hot room. Anyway, that's it. I'm not saying any more. Let's get on with some news. What have I got here? We've got sometimes it feels a bit like Dreadbox should actually be sponsors of the show, but this is the news. The new Dreadbox Nyx, which means I must obviously have one. Nyx, because it's named as if it is mine, clearly. NYX, Analog Paraphonic Synth. Here it is. It's got, like the Dreadbox Erebus, it's got a reverb in there as well. So it's got 2 VCOs with separate glide controls, a dual mode filter, 24 or 12 dB. Excuse me, I'm going to have to...
I'll just step in while Nick's having a sneeze there.
Excuse me, that was a sneeze break. And it's got a reverb, a unique reverb by Crazy Effect Tube Circuits, as found on the Splash Mark III. And it gets really just... I mean, in many ways, in the way that you have... that kind of, the delay on the Erebus and that sort of... it's just lovely to see this. And what's interesting about this, actually, is it's also got these 3... they're like rate and rise and fall LFOs, which are almost like just 2-stage envelopes, but you can loop them. So there's 3 of those, and they're routable. And that's kind of cool because they can be LFO mode or in hold or however you want. So that's actually 3 modulation sources, and there's also some interesting routing in there. I'll see if I can make that a bit bigger because I can't quite read it. So normalized, split, half. You can split the VCO. You can split the inputs to the VCF as well. So it looks really like a lot of fun. Now, the Christmas elf, who is probably pre-ordered, this looks nice, doesn't it? I mean, I must admit, I just thought this looks really right up my street with that endless reverb and everything, even though, it's not for everybody.
I've got an unfair advantage on this one because I'm going to be getting one to test. Dreadbox guys are very much, they're kindly getting one to me to do some testing on. And so I know kind of a fair amount of the innards of this and what's going on in there. And I have to say, it is quite incredible. I'm getting my hands on one in a few days, but it's until then I can tell you any bits about the architecture if you want to know.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking here. Paraphonic reverb effect, 2 VCOs, dual state variable, triangle wave LFO, Oh, there's an LFO and okay, all right, and
So
CV at 50.
Yeah, so things like the filter, you can it's routable in parallel or serial. There's 2 filters in there, high pass filter and low pass filter, or you can have
I see.
two low pulses of the low pass can form a 4-pole, or you can split them up parallel, serial. Same kind of thing with the modulators, or you can have oscillators going straight to the VCA. You can have individual oscillators going to individual filters. There's a lot going on.
It does look, yeah. It looks like there's a lot. There is a lot going on there, actually. I wonder if they've fixed the detune between the oscillators, because you couldn't quite get a 5th on the Erebus, which is a bit frustrating, I found.
I don't know that.
Well, there you go. Something to try out. I don't know. Rich, I have a feeling that you should probably have some Greek synthesizer in your life someday soon, pretty much soon. I think that, you totally dig this, if I may be so bold.
It looks gorgeous. It really does. And it sounds great in the demo. So
yeah, it's like one of those kind
optimistic.
555 euros. So I guess it's probably, it's not a cheap synthesizer, but it's
not.
But it's not a really, really expensive one. And as I've said before, I still think the Erebus has the most charisma out of many new synths that have come along recently. I know, Chicky, we've talked about that. I mean, it's terrible. I feel really guilty now, because every time this show is talking about new releases and stuff, and you're saying, I'm not buying any more stuff, as Robbie does as well, and I show you this. So what are you going to do?
Well, I listened to the demo of this, and I was remembering last week, I was just like, I cannot keep buying more synths. I just cannot keep buying more synths. And then I heard it, and I was like, I've got to have this synth. I've got to have this synth. This is amazing sounding. I mean, it's like, it's Greek, so therefore Vangelis, so therefore it reminds me of Bladerunner soundtrack. I got to get this thing. This is just so much up my alley. So yeah, I'm going to buy one. Absolutely.
Well, there's some
like the filters on it, and Ty, maybe obviously you know better than I would. It looks like the filters are almost like a tilt shift EQ in a way. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's not going to be a million miles away from that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
The main thing is about this is a kind of, for me, this looks like a cross between the Erebus and the Murmux V2, which we'll come to that maybe later. But the Murmux for me is an astonishing synth. And so, anything that has that kind of, it is a kind of, we used to say that the Murmux was a kind of Erebus on steroids. Well, this is a kind of Erebus on one steroid with a bit of Murmux thrown in. It sounds amazing. It is going to be incredible. And even better news, there's going to be a polysynth coming as well.
Okay, all right. Now we're in trouble.
No,
Chicky, you can't take it.
No, the abyss is on the way, which is kind of like it's not a polyphonic Murmux, but it has elements from the Murmux, it has elements from the Erebus, and it has elements from the Nyx, all in one gorgeous, juicy package.
I should just add here, because some people aren't probably wondering what are they talking about. Why? The thing about the Erebus is when you listen to the raw oscillators, there's something about them. You just go, bloody hell! That's surprising. The same that you get from the Studio Electronics Boom Stars. There are certain synthesizers that just the raw oscillators. I mean, Moogs as well have it, but because these aren't Moogs, it makes them slightly more unique, I suppose, because it's not like something you've always heard. And that's the thing, where just the raw building blocks, you just go, blimey, that's massive. That's why we get excited about it, I suppose.
It's very difficult to exactly as Rich said, and you said it's not a cheap synth for if you think it's just Paraphonic 2 oscillator thing. There are a lot cheaper things out there, but there is just something very, 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 very special about the oscillators and the filters.
Yeah, the filter doesn't lose bottom end when you add resonance.
No, there's something very special. And this, I have to also say, the reverb in this thing, we all love the delay in the Murmux and the Erebus, which is a really filthy, fantastic delay. But I have to say, the reverb in this sounds gorgeous.
It's mono, isn't it, by the looks of it? I don't think there's a stereo output, but that's okay.
It's a mono output, but it's like good. It's for me, it sounds like a good old-fashioned late 70s, early 80s, that kind of digital reverb that at the time everyone was going, yeah, but I want it to sound like a real room, and it doesn't. Well, now we just want it to sound like this huge wash of sound, and yeah. I think it's a bit
Okay,
special.
well, we should probably move on. But that's the about us. That's the new. It's at 555 until the end of December, and then it's at 679 US. So it's not, like I say, it's not a cheap synth. But I guess the reason we're excited is for those things that we said, because it's a new synthesizer company that has a certain something about it, and that's the reason really that we get kind of jolly excited about them. Although they do seem to be releasing far too many things. This is the problem, and now everybody wants to buy them because they've got they've got some modular stuff. They've got all sorts of
business sense that is.
No, well, I don't know. I mean, I guess they've got the
Right.
there's a lot of products. Anyway, let's have a look. What's the? Oh yeah, cool. I'm not sure I'm going to get on with this because if I play this trailer, I'm probably going to get busted. But a trailer is entirely that. It's for the promotion of a movie. So I don't kind of know. Well, let's see what happens. This is the news that the new Blade Runner movie is out, and it's not out. What am I talking about? The trailer and it's going to be out in October. And there's some lovely sounds in this trailer.
Replicants are like any other machine. They're either a benefit or a hazard. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem.
Lots of variants on the Kodo drum door slam type of stuff, but really much more atmospheric. All of it. I won't play too much more because obviously we will get busted for that. This is out the 10th. I mean, I think we did talk about it when it first came out, because obviously, if perhaps you don't know, Blade Runner was this. It was like a perfect storm of the art of cinematography and film directing of its time, together with the art of electronic music soundtracks, just becoming a thing that was just more than the sum of the parts. You may not agree with that, but I think for many it's like a very iconic on many levels, and it's got tons and tons of atmosphere. I don't know, actually. I didn't check to see who's doing the soundtrack. Do you have we got any ideas on that? Maybe I should probably write.
Yes, Johann Johannsson.
I do. Yeah, Johann Johansson.
Johann Johansson. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Who also did the music to Arrival, which is fantastic.
I'm not familiar with his work, but I really like the sound. That beginning is what it really reminds me of is putting drum machines through the Sherman filter bank. Have you ever done that? Because that distortion circuit is just like destructive. It just it's like crumbling. It's like crumbling rocks. And that's one thing I really like. And I listen back because obviously when you watch this, you get to see the original soundtrack and clips and things, and there are those very similar kind of big booming sort of timekeeping, and that's sort of variant on a theme. I don't know. I'm quite excited about it. Rich, does it have the same sort of resonance for you? Was Blade Runner big when you saw it for the first time? Was it a kind of moment?
It probably will be.
You haven't seen Blade Runner?
It's true.
No. Wait a minute. I don't believe. Look, Chicky can't believe it. Look. That's just. Have you really not seen Blade Runner? Something for you to do over Christmas break.
I'm not lying to you. I promise.
Wow, that's amazing. You should watch it. It's a great film.
I guess so. I guess I should.
It really
but
is.
I loved the trailer that you gave us to watch. It was lovely.
Well, you didn't see it here.
The
right?
original Blade Runner was Vangelis. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. Vangelis. Yep, he was the guy.
Right, and Ridley Scott. And I've actually worked on a Ridley Scott movie, but I've never seen Blade Runner.
Wow, that is astonishing.
Wow.
I don't know what to say. I'm almost speechless. I don't know. I don't need to. I mean, Ty, you've even taken your hat off. I mean, that's how.
Honestly, Rich, have you never heard the soundtrack? Have you never heard the Blade Runner soundtrack?
Not that I know of.
Wow.
I might have, but not that it was
not specifically. Wow. Okay.
That's you should, even if you don't watch the film, it really is an incredible soundtrack.
But there's only one version you should see, though. You should see the final cut version.
Is that right?
Oh yeah.
That's yeah. Because there's original, there's the director's cut, there's the final cut.
Excuse me, sorry about that. I think you need to see both. You need to see both because then the final cut makes sense. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow! Now we're going to get into this. I don't know.
They're all my friends are abandoning me now.
Right, the chat. I tell you what, the chat room has just dropped by about 150. They're outraged.
they're stormed up in protest.
That is surprising, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. Chicky, you are presumably. I'm excited. I mean, I'm disappointed that I've got to wait till bloody October. That's way too long.
I know. The original Blade Runner is by far the most for my work the most influential piece of music and cinematography ever of all time. It's my all-time favorite film. And one thing I'd like to say about this guy, Johann Johannsson, is that like in his work in Arrival. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen Arrival. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but Arrival is about it's about loss, but it's really about communication and language. And his music, if you listen to it throughout, is all about all the themes of the music he created is about communication, about language. And so what I love about his work is he really does really dig into the subject matter and writes music about that subject matter. And I feel like he's the perfect person for this. Like you were saying, for instance, about how everything sounds very like destruction and everything's just kind of breaking apart. And that is obviously going to be a theme of this film because in the trailer, everything is just sort of crumbling and falling
it's like
apart.
It looks a bit like kind of Planet of the Apes, the when he comes back, or the Omega Man or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think he's the perfect person for the film. And Vangelis or Vangelis, or however you say his name, was perfect for the original Blade Runner. I mean, it's just. Oh, Rich! Gosh,
I think as far as I understand, some of the themes are carried on. I think there's still some serious. I know, Ty, that would be a film I'm sure you'd love to score, right? Get all of those synths working out for you.
Yeah, but I have to also say that I think Johann Johannsson is exactly as you said. He's the absolute perfect guy for this. I mean, when it happened, there were all these Vangelis fans going, "Oh no, it should be no." Sorry, Vangelis is no. He's lost it, and Johann Johannsson is absolutely the top of his game at the moment. And I've got all of his albums, his commercial albums, as well as soundtrack albums, and he is absolutely perfect. I think the one thing we need to be careful of with this is the fact that we don't actually know if it's his score on the trailer, because
of course,
composers get commissioned to write the trailer music. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is Johansson's work. It has elements of it, but there are other bits where you're thinking, well, maybe it might not be him. In terms of the original, I don't want to get on your back, Rich, but the original is a completely iconic score. It's an amazing score. But Johansson is the right guy for this because Vangelis is very much, I mean, I've made it clear what I think of his latest work. Vangelis has just lost it in so many ways, mainly because of his system, mainly because of the way he now works, which is his choice, but it means that it limits the way he works. And so he would have been completely wrong for this new film. So I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait to see the film. Cannot wait to hear the music.
It's funny. I remember at the time that that going to see it was a real sort of event. It was like one of those event movies, which you don't get so much of. I mean, they pulled it off with oh gosh, what was the Zimmer one with the Edith Piaf? What was that called? Was that event?
Inception.
Inception. They created this kind of notion of event around it, and there doesn't happen, which is many things coming together at the same time. So it's interesting. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure we'll see more bits and bobs coming out soon. But yeah, you're quite right about that, because quite often people will be brought in to score the trailer alone, and I guess it must be a similar thing to a remix gig where you have to take certain elements and maybe thematics.
No, not necessarily. No. A lot of the time you're just kind of giving it blind and write some trailer music. So you don't have to take on themes from the original. Sometimes they have the original composer do it, but a lot of the time it's just a job in itself to write the trailer music.
Oh, that's interesting. So isn't it just like in a whirl? I could do actually. I could do the voiceover right now. My voice is down, although it's risen a bit, because I haven't been talking much today. Because obviously I've been in a place where you had to be quiet. So I could probably go down quite low and do the in a whirl. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for that voiceover gig. I do it once a year or something. Yeah. Now's my time. Quick, give me a call. I can probably squeeze it in. As long as you want a faintly West Country, bunged up kind of touch to it.
There's a huge call for that. Huge call.
Right. And I think it's time we should probably just say a quick word to our nod to our sponsors, because obviously they've been with us throughout the year, and we want to say thank you to them. So here comes the message from them, where we don't forget we've also got the competition at the end as well. So stay tuned. Obviously, Isotopes, Neutron, cutting-edge mix technology, audio analysis technology, and processing technology that kind of comes together in a thing to be able to allow you to analyze your mix, process it, make good visual as well as audio decisions about it with the use of the masking meter, which basically shows you the conflicting frequency, so you can clean up those areas. Brilliant idea, actually, that. And the mix assistant, which will basically analyze the tracks and suggest, maybe if you've got a bass track, it identifies it's a bass and says, try this on the bass, which you can pull back from there. You don't actually have to use the amounts and what have you. It just really gives you some good starting points. Obviously, you can use it in collaboration with other plugins as well. It's not exclusively, but it really does give you a lot more insight than you would ordinarily get from a mix. Anyway, Neutron is available now, isotope.com/Neutron. And of course, we have a competition, as we always do. Let's start with the winner of last week. Last week, we asked you to tweet the hashtag Mix Assistant and Neutron over Twitter. And this is LA Algorithms is the person that we were is the person that's won. I'm just going to check that, LA, and I've got his I've got the actual tweet. There it is, which is make loud noises. So that's he's the person who won. LA Algorithms. Do get in touch, and the Isotope Fairy or whoever is standing in, assuming she may be on holiday, will get you your copy of Isotope Neutron. We thank you very much for your sponsorship of the show. And of course, we do have another competition. This will be the last one of the year. You probably find out, I guess it's going to be 3rd or 4th of January, whenever the next Wednesday is in January. First Wednesday in January. We'll be back, I would think. We're looking for the hashtag. I thought I'd do it as a sort of, try and make it Christmassy. So I thought festive tunes, Neutron. Doesn't really have much to do with mixing, but you might be mixing festive tunes at this time of year, and this will help you. So the hashtag festive tunes, one word, and the hashtag Neutron, that's Neutron, to @Sonicstate and @Isotope Inc. And yes, it does have to be via Twitter. That's just the way it goes. So once again, the hashtag festive tunes, one word, and the hashtag Neutron to @Sonicstate and @Isotope Inc. And you'll be entered into the competition. Thank you very much. Now, we did have a plan, because Mark wanted to come on and say Happy Christmas, and he's coming in on Charles's channel. So I'm going to come to you first, because we were talking about highlights of 2016, or maybe, New Year's resolutions, anything you'd care to throw in at this point. I don't mind starting, because we've got 15 minutes, so we could get you in. I was going to say, for me, the highlight of this year was, I think, our performance at Sonic Talk Bristol. Where we all got together, because it got me playing live, and I'd not done that for many, many years, and now I've done 2 or 3 gigs, and then I'm going to try and do more next year. That's my kind of whole thing. So that's the plan. That's what I took from this year, just on a personal note, and it was just such good fun, and it was great to have, those of you who could make it, and see you, Ty. I know we wanted to get Rich along, but maybe we'll be able to do it another time. But that was, for me, the highlight. But it could be equipment, it could be any other thing. So that was just what I wanted to start with. But Chicky, I wanted to get to you.
Yes. I'd say my highlight, I've got 2 highlights. First highlight was, and this is no slant against any of my clients or anything, but I really enjoyed that Bare Naked Ladies tour this summer. That was just so great. It was them, I was with OMD, and then Howard was the opening act. It was fantastic, really fantastic. The second highlight, I got to be on this show.
Oh, bless you.
Great. Because I think I came on in September for the first time. So yeah.
Wow. So yeah, September, October, not quite. So the second end of the third quarter. That's right.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
so to me, that's a highlight. Yeah, I really love it.
Oh, what a kind and thing to say. Thank you, Chair. And it's a pleasure to have you aboard as well. Have you got any resolution?
Otherwise, this year's been a bit of a dumpster fire. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, those two. What about resolutions? Have you got any resolutions for next year? Do you do that kind of thing? I mean, think musically. You know, I don't know about what you're giving up and your terrible habits.
Yeah,
I'm sure you haven't got any.
Yeah, actually, I do. My resolution is just to write much more music. I do. I'm quite prolific as a writer. I just want to double my output, honestly, this year. So
right,
it's a lot, but yeah, there you go.
That's a pretty good thing to say. Okay, cool. Well, Chicky, if you go because Mark dials in, then and you don't come back, I want to say thank you very much and a happy Christmas. But it may be that you can come back afterwards. I'm completely at the will of what happens with Mark, but he's going to be coming on in about 10 minutes, I think. So, but I'm sure we'll get to talk to you again. But I wanted to do it now in case you just bumped out. So. Thank you, Chicky.
Fair enough. Thank you.
So, Rich, how about yourself? Highlights of 2006? This could be gear or on a personal level, whatever you kind of feel is appropriate.
Playing shows for large numbers of wonderful people who really seem to enjoy it was the highlight of my year, along with getting to enjoy members of my family and seeing some really great music and mostly having good health and stuff like that. So, it was a year full of highlights. I mean, I played a lot of shows. She, toured the North America with Duran this year. So we played a lot of shows. Of
course, yeah, of course.
Met a lot of really nice people, made a lot of new friends. Got to work on some great music. Every day on stage with the other members of Chic is a good day. So there were a lot of good days.
Excellent. That's great. And are you a kind of resolution kind of person? Have you got any kind of creative resolutions that you would care to share?
Well, beyond continuing to do all that, which I would be more than satisfied with as a lifestyle, I am looking forward to my Christmas present of a Rolly Seaboard Rise, and I am very much looking forward to developing technique on it, and I plan to practice it diligently to be able to do that. So I actually have some ideas about how I'm going to develop technique on an instrument, and I'm looking forward to implementing them and seeing if they pan out as I'm hoping they will.
Right. Oh, that sounds very interesting. Actually, one thing I could recommend is worth getting maybe the soft tube modular, because you can take the outputs of the individual kind of accesses and notes, up to 4 of them, and then route those into other things, so from CV, which could then result in LFO. So you could create some more, which will integrate presumably with other VST or Process Live inputs. It's worth thinking about that.
Yeah, it's reasonably priced too. I should check that out. I really should. I'm looking forward to that, the synthetic side, but I'm actually going to concentrate initially on imitative and solo horizontal playing, solo performance instruments. Maybe grab a sonata or a concerto on a traditional instrument and see how well I can articulate that from that instrument.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, well, good.
Because synths don't have a lot. There's not a standard against which your articulation is going to be measured. When you put up a synth, you're playing something new. But if I put up cello patch or a bassoon or whatever, and I play a concerto, I have something to live up to, and it forces
what you're trying to achieve, right?
It forces me to execute certain things that are in the standard repertoire, and it'll actually develop my technique so that when I do sit down with an instrument that doesn't have such a sort of litany behind it, I'll have some expressive opportunities to present.
That's a really smart idea, actually. Good. Well, I hope you have a lot of fun with that. What a great idea. Mr. Ty Unwin, highlight of 2016, apart from your obviously serious collection of hats.
Okay, personal kind of personal music level. Starting work on a project with Midjaw, who, from my point of view, when I was a teenager, was a real hero, and he was kind of God for a number of years. And so one way or another, I've ended up working with him on his next album, and still working with him. He hasn't sacked me yet for some reason, and that's going really well. And so that's been a biggie. And he's also the nicest guy on earth, which, as we all know, when we have to work with people, is the
sure. It's great, helpful.
So there's that. On a gear point of view, highlights are the Dreadbox Nyx V2, The modal stuff, the 008 and 002, which came at the very beginning of the year, they've been fantastic. Really great synths. Software-wise, Adaptiverb.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's been a biggie. Library-wise, the two that really stick out for me are Spitfire Tundra, the Albion 5, which is the really quiet orchestral sample set, which is just beautiful. And also, and this is one for Rich as well, the Chris Hines solo violin. If you haven't checked that out, the Chris Hines solo violin, and they've just brought out the solo cello. The realism of those libraries are incredible.
Get something to go well with the Rolly, I'd imagine, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. With the Rolly, that would be fantastic. The kind of realism and the amount of control you have over those is incredible.
I see a man writing something down. So
well,
therefore,
what's that second
Chris
word
Hine,
you just
H-E-I-N. They did a solo. They've just opened the solo strings,
Okay.
but the main one, solo violin, solo cello, beautiful, and they go fantastic with the Rolly. And that's it, really. I mean, it's been a really good year. It's been a productive year.
how many minutes of music have you written? Do you keep a running tally?
No. It'd be
Okay.
just depressing if I did, because I do find it depressing how much I write. The opposite way to most people would get depressed if they don't write enough music. I get depressed because I write too much music. So I don't. It's just ongoing. I mean, I can tell you how much I wrote last week, but that's it, kind of.
Right.
So I just write too much. But the nice thing about doing midget stuff is what's made me realise is that I've had a lot more freedom with that rather than writing to picture. And it's fantastic writing to picture, and I love doing it. But just being able to write kind of what I want based around what we're working with Midge has made me realise that, and I say this every year, everyone that knows me, all of my friends, they all go, yeah, you say this every year. But I really have to start on my album next year. I mean,
right.
Just for me, I have to.
I've been saying that a lot as well.
Yeah, but I've got to do it. I've been saying it. I think I've said this to you before. I haven't actually written a note for myself, non-commissioned for myself, since 1997. That was the last time I wrote a note of music that was just for me. Right. 1997.
Yeah, it's about time.
So that's 20 years next year since I last wrote a note of music for myself. So I think it's about time I did. And also, I need to lose some weight.
Well, I can second that from my point of view. I need to do much the same thing. But thank you. That's good stuff. Good stuff. So, well, let me see what else we've got here. That was one of the topics. As I said, I think mine was music related. I didn't want to get into kind of the releases and that sort of it. I mean, because Circuit didn't really come out in 2016, but I've been enjoying that recently. That's something I'd like to focus more on. And I think the thing that I've realised is, because I always used to be into the computer as a sequencer. I just thought, why would you need a hardware sequencer when you can do all of this stuff? But now I'm sort of thinking, actually, I enjoy the relationship you have with a hardware sequencer in a different way. Gives you kind of more. It's like that creative limitation kind of thing. You just go, yeah, I'll make that work, and then you do or you don't. And so that's something that I think I've realised this year, that hardware sequencers actually do have quite a lot to offer, apart from when you get very short repetitive phrases, which I'm very good at writing though, so maybe that's why I'm well suited. Who needs more than a bar when you've got no imagination, yes. Gosh, actually, come thinking about it, that is the last topic. There was this useful multi-tracker by Sebastian Seguila, but I'm not sure that feels like a kind of unusual time to drop it in, as it feels like such a. I'm hoping that Marc will join in shortly. Are you on Sonic Talk 3, Charles? I think you are, right? I think you are. I can't tell from here. Yeah. Oh well, I'm sure he'll show up. I'm just seeing whether he's tried to write, type in. He might have texted me. I did ask him to, and I've completely forgotten. No, he hasn't. So it must be. Oh, it's only 16:43. So that's probably
talk ad nauseum about whatever you want then.
Oh, excellent! You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes without repetition or hesitation. No, that's
You've got three people on here that are quite happy to just spout at you quite happily.
I'll
get something to rant about. That'll get me and Rich going.
I'm just looking if there was anything else. I was trying to look for something. I did find something, but it kind of slipped me by. Like I said, I'm a little bit bereft of buffer at the moment.
I think, look, if nothing else, if we've got 2 minutes to kill, I think, NAMM's coming up. It's only
that's very true. Yes,
I don't want to depress everyone, but NAMM's around again, and it's only kind of a month away. There's always that thing of what would we like to see at NAMM, and
well, there is true. No, that's very true. I mean, I don't honestly know what to expect this year, because it's very interesting. Because as what happened, Music Messe was huge a couple of years ago, and it felt really vibrant and exciting. And then the next year it didn't, and this year's feeling kind of much less so. And NAMM was last year really vibrant and exciting around electronic music instrument, which is kind of what happened at Messe as well. And this year, there's actually featuring synthesizers a lot more in the NAMM blurb, saying, big year for synths because, and they're getting luminaries in and stuff. So it'd be really interesting to see how that changes, because traditionally NAMM LA being a rock city, effectively, has always been much more geared towards the guitar side of things. And that's kind of an interesting thing. And I wonder what the shape is, because obviously at the same time as that, it's become, slightly more expensive to attend. I don't know how big the synth contingency will be when we're there, and whether people are going to choose to release. I haven't heard of kind of major releases from there yet, so it's going to be a very interesting show. But as ever, good fun. And I know. Do you ever get to go, Charles?
I don't. Maybe I should. Well, actually, it's a little bit late for me to plan to go this year. I mean, I'm going to be there the week after. So,
yeah,
as we discussed earlier. But,
you won't have time yet.
Yeah, so
that's a shame.
But, yeah, I never really get to go to those things. That's also, it's like I used to live in Austin, and when I lived in Austin, I'd always get out of town whenever South by Southwest rolled around. So,
Mark's just come in on 2 rather than 3.
Oh, hello, Mark.
Have I?
Yes.
Oh shit! No, I'm swearing.
Me.
Who have I bumped?
Ty. That's all right.
Oh, sorry, Ty.
Let me.
But I get to meet Charles, who I've never met.
But this is Mark Tinley's just jumped on.
How are you doing?
Ty Unwin right there. Not Ty Unwin. Sorry. He's going that. Yeah, going that way.
It's better, isn't it?
We said we were going to have a kind of. Have you brought your Christmas presents? And I'm a bit disappointed you haven't got the white beard and the red outfit on, Mark.
I'm wearing red.
That's fair enough.
No beard, no.
Oh, so
I had an elf hat on earlier, but
So you're in the shop.
Well, this is a bit. I can't. Yeah, I am in the shop. Yeah, in the shop of many colourful things. In fact,
we were just actually. I'm glad you have you on, because obviously as a valued participant, it's always nice to say hi to everybody. Oh, there we go. There's the. We haven't seen him for a while. Gosh, it's looking well stocked.
Loads and loads of weird stuff. Look, I've got bloody trombones.
Wow,
what do you do with that? Does anybody know about them?
No, I think Rich is giving it a thumbs up.
I actually do.
I've got this very nice dog bowl electric guitar. Look.
Oh yeah.
This. Right. I'm in the middle of mending that for somebody.
Wow, that looks like a lot of marquetry on that.
That looks like a bazooki.
I don't know what it is. The guy came in. He said it was a sampan or something. It's got masses of frets on it, like about 30 frets in an octave or something. It's very odd.
Wow.
Quarter tone sort of stuff.
Yeah, sorts of strange divisions that make no musical sense, but it's kind of cool. It sounds interesting. So, sorry, you were asking me something, and then I interrupted you.
Yes, we were just going through the, what was the highlight of 2016, sort of musically or music technology for you?
Opening a music shop.
Yeah, well, I imagine that's a pretty damn big deal.
Technologically, I think maybe buying the Push 2, which I didn't have before, which I think is like incredible, and getting into the Arduino, playing around with the Arduino and getting into a little bit of coding and starting to understand how that works. So, realizing that most of the music technology, or a lot of the music technology we see, has got an Atmega chip in the heart of it.
Yeah.
And also the PT2399, which is a karaoke chip that seems to be in just about every bloody delay pedal made by every manufacturer on the planet. But I've been hacking those and having loads of fun with those. So,
excellent.
Those two. So
So that's more like the nuts and bolts side of things. And do you have any creative resolutions for 2016, Mark?
Yeah, I ought to get back to creating music. Keep it more simple, though, because I just definitely always end up overcomplicating things. I don't know. I want to form a band, I think. I've got somebody in mind. And people keep coming in the shop, so I've met some really interesting people. But I met a woman came in the shop who did some music with youth. And we talked for ages about like different electronic noise making things. And I just thought she seemed really cool. And a lot of our ideas were compatible. So I went and listened to her stuff online and really like her voice. So maybe with her, some kind of bizarre electronica with a German female singer. That could be cool, couldn't it?
Sounds great. Yeah. I think that sounds really good. So you'll have to figure out how you need a like mobile setup that you can use in the store as well, and people be like a little booth in the corner where stuff's happening, and people can come in and go, "What's going on in there?" Oh, somebody's making it.
I have sort of got that. I've got a PA in here, and I've got a Line 6 audio interface under my desk and my laptop and stuff. So I do make music in here sometimes. And I made something the other day. Oh, I got this weird. Where's that gone? Somebody came in with this digital sarangi kind of box, which is
wow.
It just here it is. Yeah, this strange little thing.
Oh my lord! What on earth is that?
So that is like a digital tempura. So it does like all the kind of background drones.
Oh, like Indian.
So I've been experimenting with that and then playing slide guitar over the top of it and trying to get sort of Indian kind of nuances into like blues, which is I don't know.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
As H9 Max, you could get a plug. Stick it through an Eventide H9, you'd be on cloud nine, as it were. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool, Mark.
So I've got to wish everyone happy Christmas then, haven't I? Are you still doing topics, or have you finished?
Well, we sort of finished the topics. That was the last one, really, because I didn't have an awful lot of time to prepare this week because of events, and I also have got a head full of cold, so I have not been all that imaginative today. But yes, we can certainly wish people happy Christmas. That would be, this is not, for those who've just tuned in, this is not Ty Unwin, this is Mark Tinley. Ty Unwin may well be back, we don't know yet.
Very sorry, Ty, I've bumped Ty, haven't I?
That's all right, no problem. Well, very happy Christmas and New Year to you, Mark. Be a pleasure to hook up, hopefully, sometime again soon in actual person.
Yeah, well, come and visit my shop, you'll love it.
I'd love to, I would love to. Maybe after
I've shown you this. Did I show you the strange noise-making device? Let's switch this on. Is that going to... How do I get this?
Good Lord. It looks like a car battery. Wow.
I know, I've got customers.
Ah, okay.
I have to come back later. I'm just in the middle of a call. Sorry. I don't know if I meant to do that. I probably ought not to do that.
You probably are. That feels like a good...
Never see them again.
Yeah. Maybe you should go and get them, Mark, but you might make a big sale at the last minute. You never know.
Go get your customers.
Hang on.
Is that the alarm? Oh, there we go.
No, it's the synth.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, I don't know. It gets weirder than that.
Customers are broken in.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mark. I think we're probably going to say our goodbyes and thank yous and everything.
Merry Christmas to everyone in the chat room. I'm on my phone, so I can't see you, but I like doing Sonicstate podcast and things, and just wanted to say hello. So
no, pleasure to have you, Mark. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Hi, Mark.
There's Rich and Charles, who you now have met.
Hey, we haven't met yet. No.
Hi, Charles. Pleased to meet you.
Charles.
Nice to meet you too.
Charles Mark. Although not toy, as it says there. All right, then. Well, I think it's probably time to think about wrapping things up. Thank you very much for sticking with me. As I said, I nearly cancelled because I felt a bit unwell, so I'm sorry if I've been a bit meandering and not quite on it this week, but I'm sure as we all wind down for Christmas, we can understand, and I've got the look of a sort of perhaps someone who's spent a bit too long at the Christmas party. The office Christmas party. So, although I haven't, it's just the look I'm rocking with today. So, thank you very much for joining. And I want to say, all our guests, wherever you may be and whenever you come on, we do very much appreciate it. All of these people, good people, give up their time for free to join us here, and I'd just like to reiterate that and say thank you every time. Yeah, I'm sorry, the check's still in the post, Rich. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, since Brexit, it's just not been possible. But thank you very much. So thank you, Charles. It's been a pleasure to have you again this year. Have a great break, and I hope you get all your work done before Christmas, as you hope.
As I hope to. Yes.
And also, Mr. Rich Hilton, thank you also for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you as ever. Have a great gig and a great Christmas feast.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh, yes, great words indeed. And also, there you go, Mark Tinley, thank you for joining us too, as well.
And pretending to be Ty Unwin.
I wonder if I can get Ty to come back on now.
Can I just say I've got a problem in this shop. This is a Santa ukulele.
All right.
And this is a Rudolph the Reindeer ukulele.
Yeah.
If you live anywhere near Glastonbury, please come and buy them. Otherwise, I'm going to have them here
for a year. Those customers might have seen those in the window, and they might have been.
I know. I was just thinking, why did I send them away?
Well, you could chase after them. Mark, I'm just going to ask Ty to call back now, because then we can say goodbye to him.
Oh yeah, cool, okay.
But thank you very much for joining us, mate, and maybe we'll have Ty on in just 1 second. So that's going to be it for this week. I think we're going to be back on the Wednesday, the first Wednesday of January, which I'm not entirely sure when that is.
I think it's the 3rd.
The third. That sounds promising. Probably the 3rd. We'll be back, and that
would be the 4th.
The 4th. You're right.
The 4th will be back. Right. We'll be back on the 4th of January, folks. Yeah, thank you. And there's Ty back again for some goodbyes. Hey, well, Mark just was out by 1 digit, but it's all worked out. So Ty, we're just saying our goodbyes. So thank you ever so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on. And as I've said to everybody, we really do appreciate everybody giving up their time and joining us for our weekly fun and games. So thank you, Ty, and I hope you have a great Christmas too.
Thank you. I completely get about, I remember last Christmas was the first year that I'd been on, so it is special. We do enjoy this. It's great, and I think what none of us ever really say is that without being schmaltzy and all that kind of thing, I'm going to be, because it's that time of year. Nick, you do a great job, and we do appreciate what you do, and I think everyone appreciates what you do. So,
here.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, well done, Nick. You keep this together, and
sometimes,
sometimes
better than others.
We have to say these things.
Yeah, but, actually, so you're still not getting paid. Anyway, thank you very much. Ty, thank you very much.
Christmas, everybody.
Thank you. Yes, and you, Ty. Thank you very
much,
Charles. Thank you very much, Rich Hilton. That's it for this year. For all of you, wherever you are, even if you don't celebrate Christmas and just get a couple of days off, have fun with it, make some music, do some good stuff, teach yourself something, explore something new, do all of the things that make you happy while you get the chance. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.